Hello, hello, and welcome. Hello, Amo Lopez, and hello, Van Majorano. Sorry I didn't see you there just yet. I was just spreading out the links now that the stream is live and getting everything ready to go. Just waiting for at least one or two people to show up into the chat before I really get started on stuff. So yeah, no, I'm super excited about this. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. This is a new series that I'm going to be doing. I'm calling it the Science Wizard Comics REDLINE. And that is basically just what I call edits behind the scenes at Science Wizard Comics, because I edit all the comics that we do there. I'm just giving advice and making sure that the stories flow properly, making sure that just the pacing is on point. Arno. Sorry, Arno. That is my bad. The R and the N are so close together that it looks like an M. So it looks like Amo. My mistake. I'm sorry. It's very small text. But, oh yeah, no, I see Tarantino Jaws. That's our good pal. He's someone that I interact with quite a bit on Twitter here and there. So I recognize you. Good to see you. I hope you guys like what I'm planning here. At least they can pronounce your last name. Majorano. Majorano. M-A-I-O-R-A-N-O. Majorano. I mean, that's what it looks like. I just go phonetically, man. If it's wrong, you can always correct me, and I will happily sort it out. Oh, and Arno is our good friend Cactus. I recognize him as well from Twitter. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I'm gonna get started here in a minute. Just make sure I've got this. Okay, so here I am. I got your chats and stuff on the screen there as well. So and Marlena has joined us. That's our good buddy Troy. Of course, you all know him as the artist for and the writer for the creator of the maestro of Juanpool, Journey of the Juan. And so yeah, Science Wizard Comics. We're working on a lot of comics, man. We are behind the scenes. We are trucking away. Troy is inking Chicken Warrior. Oops. Sorry, I forgot to turn off my my stream stuff. But yeah, Sir Kektai at your service. Thank you for joining us. Troy, thanks for joining the chat. I hope this is fun and informative for everybody. I'm just showing off a little piece of Pineapple Pizza Man right now, just because this is my favorite page that I've done so far in the book. We're hard at work behind the scenes at Science Wizard Comics. I've got Pineapple Pizza Man that I've been drawing, doing the pencils, inks, tones, flats, colors, the lettering. I'm doing all the visuals. That's coming from me on Pineapple Pizza Man. It's a lot of work. But I'm very happy with how it's turning out. This is one of my favorite pages so far. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit for you so you guys can take a look. We got this awesome action scene going on here. We got Baby in a mech suit, which is the principal villain of the first issue of Pineapple Pizza Man. He's shooting off some rockets. We got Pineapple Pizza Man coming in here. He's fallen from this skyscraper that he just jumped out of, grabbing one of the minions, putting him in front, and then boom, kicking him into the rockets to shield himself from the explosions, and then bam, superhero landing, but with some epic face, glowing eyes. Pineapple Pizza Man means business, and business is good. Troy says, crushing it too, bro. Yeah, no, I'm trying, man. I'm putting my all into this book. It's my first comic, and I want to make it sing like a canary, brother. I'm super happy with how it's turning out. I hope everybody else is going to be super happy with it. You know, this is just a taste of you know, what we're doing over at Pineapple, or sorry, over at Science Wizard Comics. You know, we've got Troy's doing the inks for Chicken Warrior. I'm doing the coloring on that. I'm working on a page for Chicken Warrior right now. Hoping to get that done by the end of the weekend. Yeah, ain't nobody can kill off the pineapple. I mean, they can try, you know, but he's the #1 superhero. Very good. Top of the world. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going to just do a quick rundown here. I've shown you a little fun preview of Pineapple Pizza Man. Hopefully you dig it. Hopefully that's helping to get you excited. This is just the black and white, mind you. I'm going to be coloring this bad boy, too. This whole book's going to be full color. But what I'm doing here with this new series of streams is redlining. And that's what I call my editing process behind the scenes at Science Wizard Comics. And that's why I also wanted to have this page of Pineapple Pizza Man up here, too, as an example, as a, you know, something I can give you a quick example of what that is. So the reason why I call it the red line is because I tend to take the principal art. Oops, I need a white background so that doesn't get lost. Alright, so I tend to take the opacity down for the main artwork, put a layer in front, and then I will do my editing. Let me just get my handy-dandy drawing glove so that my sweaty, sticky hands don't get all over things. So yeah, so then I take my handy-dandy drawing glove, and then I will do red lines over top of it, just like a, you know, just like a teacher marking up a test, you know, in high school or I guess college or pretty much any level of education, you know. And this is what I do for my crew. You know, I come in, I say like, you know, Pineapple Pizza Man here, let's say. Oh, you know, he's looking too happy. Why don't we make him sad? So then I'll just kind of like draw over top, you know, and it won't be like perfect, right? It'll be pretty rough most of the time, you know. Let's say I'm coming in here, just kind of go over his eyes, and then we'll just kind of adjust the expression. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well let's have Pineapple Pizza Man be sad. So then we gotta have his mouth kind of come down. Oh no, he's a sad Pineapple Pizza Man. Actually, I should probably lower the opacity even more so that shows up. So it's simple stuff like that, you know. It's like, this isn't working, you know, try this. And so what I want to do, I don't want to just give you like pretend examples on the red line of different editing ideas. I want to actually give you, you know, tactical, like tangible examples, like actually edit something properly, you know, take something that you guys give me, go over it, you know, really, you know, put some thought into it and give you my honest opinion, give you my honest editorial stance on it, and hopefully it'll be fun, it'll be informative, and you guys will get a kick out of it. So, getting the chat back here. Pineapple Pizza Man knows when one is lacking in vitamin C. Yeah, I don't know about that, but he certainly doles out the harshness when the villains come around, that's for sure. I mean, Pineapple Pizza Man is a very like kind of standard superhero kind of story, but it's just like the character himself is almost like out of place in the world he's in, and yet he's been there for so long that he's really become like a staple of the hero community. You know, he's one of the most successful heroes in his world, and it's just got that fun sort of balance where it's like this completely absurd character, this alien that is shaped like a pizza for some reason with a pineapple for head, that grows, you know, pineapple tidbits on his chest,
when he eats pineapple, drinks pineapple juice, eats pineapples, has pineapple pizza, all that stuff. So he kind of gets his power from his eating of pineapple. And it's ridiculous, but it works. It just works. Arno says, tests suck, man. I kid you not when I say I was lucky enough to pass the last test of senior year with an 86%, man. School boggles with your mind, man. I didn't have a hard time in school. I thought school was an absolute cakewalk, to be honest. You just got to know how to game the system, man. The teachers certainly don't care. Most of them don't care, especially once you hit high school. When you're in elementary school, you're probably going to get teachers that care quite a bit more. But high school, man, they don't care. They just want to get you in and out. They don't want to see you again. They don't care. But I care. I love editing. I love getting new pages in from the bros at Science Wizard. When I get some Chicken Warrior, Juanpool, Offspring, Unvarnished book that she's working on, tentatively titled Vessel, I believe it was. It's just a lot of fun. I love getting it because as soon as I see the pages, I go over them, and it just starts sparking ideas. It's like just plain old brainstorming, and that's really what it is. It's that interactive, collaborative zone that you get into when you're doing editing. So I've got a couple of submissions for the first episode of Redline. I'm only going to do one of them tonight because it's already kind of late, and I don't want to go crazy late with this thing this time. I'm going to keep it fairly short, just kind of do the one smaller example, and I'm just going to find that real quick. I had it open. I think I closed it because I am a artard. So let me just... Where's the thing? Open... No. Open file location. That's what I want. Okay, so I got two submissions for the first episode of the Redline. I got one from Forrester from Twitter, good buddy of ours. See him all the time on there, interact with him lots. Just a great guy. He's working on his own comic stuff, and he sent us a whole comic to go over in Redline for the stream. So big shout out to Forrester. Thank you so much. You can find him on Twitter. That's at dogsandsailors1. So I'm just gonna put that in the chat. If you're not already following him, go check him out. He's a good boy. Lady Caitlin 0429, thank you for joining the stream here tonight on the Science Wizard Comics Redline. This is our editing stream. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's informative and fun. And she says, imagine being bad at tests. Can't relate. I big brain all my tests. Also, hi, hello. We got a big brain audience. It's like Rick and Morty all up in this bitch. So Arno says, I'm in Cali, man. Cali's test switched up on a student. First day, you're stuttering up on American colonization. Next thing you know, you're studying on the invention of peanut butter. That's a little chaotic. So anyway, the first thing we're going to be going over on the Redline, and I'm just going to switch out to just the drawing page here, so you can see the full, the full screen here. And I am using Clip Studio Paint. That's what I tend to work on. So Catalytic Comics is the second submission that we got, and that's the smaller one. He only gave us one page to work on. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go over Catalytic Comics page that he submitted. And I'm going to save the full comic for Forrester's submission for the second episode. And that way I can kind of dig into it a little deeper, go a little more in-depth on that one. And I think that'll be a lot of fun to do. I hope you guys join me again for that one. And I also have plans to do some edits for various indie comics that I have backed on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. you know, there's a couple that I think are kind of like, yeah, they're good, but they could be better. And that's what editing is. It's taking something good, you know, and if you're able to see the path to making it great, then that's what you do. You do your redlining, you do your editing, you put it out there to the artists and help them to be their best, you know. And that's what I love about comics. That's what I love about Science Wizard comics and working with Troy and Kraken, Unvarnished, and Semicolon and Theron. You know, we got a really great, dynamic, creative, you know, like just atmosphere, and it's just a lot of fun, man. And you shouldn't. Oh, that's supposed to be dogs and sailors. Dogs and sailors 1. Sorry, I accidentally got the Twitter for Forrester there wrong. And the other one is Catalytic Comics. So go check out Catalytic Comics as well on Twitter. He's the one that I'm going to be editing first today. So I'm going to pull that up. He gave me 2 image files. Now the first one is this right here. So what he's got here is he's got a couple of notes on the side. He's got the script on the left-hand side and the art with the script on the right-hand side, which is really cool. It's an interesting way of doing it. Now, when it comes to, Troy says in Dom's voice, family. I don't know if I can do his Dom's voice very well, but hey, there it is. But anyway, so that's one thing you have to understand with comics is that there is no one way to do them. Everybody has a different system for how they write it, and how they organize everything. And this is an interesting one. I haven't seen it like this, where they lay out the panel structure with the text, with the script. So that's a very interesting way of doing it. I think if you really want to direct your artist and how to go about things, how to lay things out, if you've got that all in mind, and then this is probably a great way to do that. Personally, I like to give the artist a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more free reign with the layout of the books. Just because I know from experience myself, having, you know, directed some animations, you know, having dealt with like live action film, you know, I've done a lot of that, and I know that things can change. Things can change on a day-by-day basis. You know, what comes out on the script, you might have this idea of exactly how that's going to be in the end, and you might be wrong. Because once you start getting into it, once you start either, let's say if it's in live action, once you start filming, you know, things are going to become apparent. You know, you're going to be like, oh, well, this shot that we storyboarded out, like, we're not able to, you know, put the camera where it needs to be able to achieve that shot, you know, and still maintain our, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Our staging, you know? So things happen like that. And it was the same way with Pineapple Pizza Man. When I first got the script, you know, it was planned to be about, I think it was 24 pages, maybe 20. Yeah, I think it was about 24 pages is what we were planning it to be. But once I started roughing it out, you know, and I tried to stick as closely to Theron's script and his initial outline as closely as possible in first, but it became apparent very, very quickly that all of the stuff that we wanted to fit in there wasn't going to fit within that 24 pages, and we had to drastically extend it, particularly the action sequence that takes place in the middle of the book between Pineapple Pizza Man and Baby in a Mech Suit, who you guys saw earlier in the example that I showed you. And we ended up extending the book by several pages, particularly the fight scenes, to the point where it is going to be 42 pages. So that's almost double the length of what we had initially intended. And if there's one piece of advice that I can give is don't cut yourself, like don't give yourself a strict page limit, especially when it comes to indie comics, because we do not have limitations in indie comics. Remember that. We do not have limitations. We have the freedom, unlike the mainstream with like DC and Marvel and all them, we have the freedom to tailor the story to be however long it needs to be to tell the story that we want to tell. Very important. I think that is the one most important piece of advice that I can give anybody who's trying to make their own indie comics. Let the story dictate the length. Because if you're trying to stick strictly to that 21-page standard that you get in the mainstream comic book industry, but then your script just like it needs a little more room to breathe. It needs a little more room to like establish that pacing that you want, to establish the feelings that you want to convey to your audience. It's gonna hurt you. It's gonna hurt you because you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. The square peg is your script, is your story, and the round hole is the length. Let just extend the art to what you need it to be to fit into that square peg that is the story. So with that in mind, I'm gonna get into it. Let's take a look at this here story. So this is page 1.1.4. Now, I don't understand exactly what that means in the context of this comic page that Catalytic has given us. Arno, he builds upon what Troy just said. He says, mainstream may be strong, but not as strong as family. I love the Dom memes, I gotta say, I love it. So anyway, page 1.14. Now, communication is also a key component to editing. You can't, when you're giving something to an editor, they have to know exactly what's what, whether that be the story, like as a whole, like have them read the whole script first so that they have context for whatever it is they're editing. Even if you're only giving them a page, like Catalytic did, your editor should know what that page is about in the context of the greater story as a whole. That's going to make things easier for them to edit, because when you're editing, you really do have to take the whole into mind. Because even when I was editing issue 1 of Pineapple Pizza Man, I still needed to know what was coming in issue 2 and what was coming in issue 3. So you have to know where you're going to be able to properly direct your artists on how to get there. And a lot of the editing process is going to be pretty small stuff for the most part. You're going to be looking at tiny little things like tangents. You're going to be looking at things like story progression, like specifically like eye directions and which way that characters are facing, because that's also important. That was a big thing when we were editing Chicken Warrior, is that one of the elements that was getting brought up the most often with Kraken's pencils was that he was changing the direction of the action too frequently. Sometimes he would have the direction be going one way, and then for a specific to achieve a specific what's the word I'm looking for, like a pose or to fit like whatever pose that he had into the
the panel structure, he would change the direction of the characters, which is actually kind of jarring for the reader. Now, it's not a huge thing, but like it's not something that most readers are going to consciously be aware of, but it is something that they are going to be subconsciously aware of, and it's something that will subconsciously kind of throw them for a little bit of a loop. So at one point, I think I'll probably break out some of the Chicken Warrior stuff just to give you guys an example of that, because I think the Chicken Warrior stuff, like in particular, was a really great example of that. And keep in mind that when I do give an example of something, when I do edit something, it's not because I think whatever it is that I'm editing is bad. Generally, I'm editing stuff because I love it, and I want it to be the best it can be, you know? So when I edit a comic that I've received from Indiegogo or Kickstarter, you know, that I've backed, I like those comics, and I think they could be better, and generally I want to use them as examples of specific things that can come up during the editing process. So I want everyone that does join in on these Redline streams to be aware of that nothing that I'm doing here is ever going to be out of any malicious intent. That's not what I do. I am not a drama channel, not by any stretch of the imagination. So let's get into this page. Let's start with just the script. So first panel, Mike gets out of a van carrying camcorder. Background needs to imply we are not in the sunny environment of the earlier panels. Maybe dust, rocky background. I wonder if dust was supposed to be dusk with a K. If just because dust, unless it's supposed to be dusty, like it's very, lots of dust kicked up in the area, that could use a little bit of a clarification. So panel 2, recorder scene. Mike entering front desk area, sees first gray. First gray. Okay, so that's another thing that I would need clarification on as the editor. I don't know what a gray is. When I'm reading this, like I'm thinking like grays as in, because it's gray as a noun. So I'm thinking like gray aliens? Could be, I don't know, because unfortunately I don't have the full context of this example that he's given me. So that's one thing. So Mike's speaking with Gray. Okay, so I'm guessing maybe Gray is this character. All right. So check it out. Here's another example. Notice he has in the script here, he's got 2 panels at the top here. He's got, you know, Mike coming out of the van, and then Mike entering the front desk area and seeing Gray. But then in the image here that he's provided, he's got 3 panels at the top here, and that's a good example. He's edited this, or maybe the artist has come to him and said, "Hey, I think we need another panel at the top here, you know, to show this character entering the building before coming in." So there you go. That's one example. He's been editing it already. So good on you, brother. So panel 3, second line here. Mike speaking with Gray. Gray, are you here for the education also? Gray, meet with the administrator in classroom A3. All right, and then we have over here, are you here for education? So he's cut down the dialogue. He's cut out one of the lines. And then panel 4, recorder scene going down the hallway. Okay. So there's a lot of first-person stuff with the camcorder. I wonder what
exactly the context is. That's the first thing I'm thinking of is what's the context of this scene. And again, I have to stress that. The editor needs to know the context of what he's editing. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to do the best job he can as an editor. So, I'm guessing this is some sort of spooky thing. We'll take a look and we'll come back to that. So, recorder scene at class door. Reservation by P sensor on a posted schedule. Alright, and on the page here I don't see that coming up at all. I also don't know what these yellow squares are. They look like they might be post-it notes. I'm wondering if this was... No, this is definitely done digitally. I can tell that. And it looks like he's a lot of these are notes for his initial passive editing. Okay. So recorder scene view from inside, mic opening the door. There it is. And then person getting taped, occulted. That is a word that I definitely don't know. That must be something specifically for the context of the story that he's telling. Occulted admin behind him. So I guess this lady with the red ribbons coming out of her is the admin. Person is being turned gray, half transformed. And then admin says, "May I?" Excuse me, may I? Is okay. That's a little. It's a touch confusing. Particularly because he doesn't have traditional word bubbles with this. So they aren't pointing to who is supposed to be speaking. Now it says admin, and there's may I, but on the script I don't see the excuse me line. So as an editor, only seeing the excuse me line on the page and it not having a like the word, like the traditional word bubbles that point to who is talking. I don't know who's talking. I don't know if that's the admin. I don't know if that's the guy in the chair getting turned into a gray. I don't know if it's the guy with the camera. So that is definitely something that you should make clear. And your editor should it should be clear to the editor all the context of the scene. And keep in close touch with your editor. Keep an open line of communication so that you can go back and forth. You know, make them like your editor needs to be readily available to you, and you should be readily available to your editor for when they have questions as well. We do this in a Twitter chat generally, and then we also have a Discord for Science Wizard Comics internal affairs for doing a lot of that work as well. All right, so the final two panels. Admin throwing tape. Admin says, "Help you?" And then tape bursting from door. Mike is noping out of there as fast as possible. Okie doke. Let's take a look at these notes that he's got here as well. The recorder scenes should be a camera with a REC recording symbol in the lower right corner. It looks like he's got all that in there. Fights with the administrator should normally be indoors, close quarters, and have a horror show feel. Okay. Makes sense. Definitely looks like they're going for a horror vibe. Should Mike say anything while noping out of there? I do think so. Now, it doesn't have to be that he's specifically saying anything. He could just be, you know, it could just be like a sound effect, essentially. Like, you know, when someone's like, they get scared or something, or they get, you know, startled by something, and they'll make a noise. It'll be like, oh, ah, oh, gah, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think something like that would definitely would definitely help. Because when your characters are just silent, it doesn't really seem like they're scared. Scared people tend to make noise. Okay. Oh, Arno, I missed a chat message you said. Arno says, "Holy hell! Now that's crazy. I'm planning 38 pages per issue for Lucid Night, and I have almost a 100 issue thought up, and only at 93 issues written. That is. Well, Arno, my advice for that is take it one issue at a time. Know where you're going, like I said before, but focus on one issue at a time. Like for Pineapple Pizza Man, for instance, we have the first draft of the second issue scripted. We have the first draft of the third issue scripted, but that's about it as far as like scripted issues. Those haven't even been fully edited yet either. But we focused, like, once we had the full outline, like the rough script for the full 3-issue first arc, volume 1, we put our focus on just issue 1. And we just tightened that up and tightened it up, edited the script until we felt it was just right, and then I started going through the roughs and the designs for the characters. So the roughs, that was where we really started to get an idea for the pacing of it. And that's where we really started to realize that, yeah, this needs to be almost double the length that it currently is. And, yeah, with Chicken Warrior, that was, I think it was about 28 or 27 pages, and it ended up being 30 pages by the end of it. So that also got extended a little bit, but not nearly as much as Pineapple Pizza Man did. Yeah. So let's bring this, and I'm gonna bring in both the scripted version and the unscripted version. So let's start with that and that. So we can come back and forth between the two. So let's start with this this first panel here. I'll get my red, and I'll get my white background here, and lower the opacity. I don't want to get it too low because I want you guys to be able to see it okay. And then I'll get my red line layer. I tend to go for a little darker red, just so it shows up a little more. So Mike gets out of the van carrying the camcorder. Okay, great. Now, one of the first issues that I see with this page so far, and this is the very first thing that jumps out to me whenever I watch, whenever I look at a page, is the direction, right? The action, like the direction of the action. So let's take a look here. Now, what I mean by that is when you're going through like say a storyboard for a film or something, you tend to want to have one character going in one direction, and they continue to go in that direction until something changes, right? So until something, affects that character in some way, or you show a change in direction within the visual storytelling that you're establishing, you want to try and maintain that same direction. So we've got this character here. We got the van on the right, the van on the left, the character on the right, and the character is pointing this direction, right? He's pointing to the right. Then we've got him going straight, and now he's going, and now he's going to the left. And then it's straight, then it's to the right. So he's going to the right, to the left, to the right, and then straight again, and then the opposite direction. Now, this is technically correct. This is technically correct, because what he's doing is he's establishing the direction, and then he is... so what we've got is the axis, like the directional axis, right? And so if you're on one side of the axis, so like that's going to the right, you can't cross the axis and go to the left until you have established the center. So as long as you're going like centrally like this before going to the left, it's technically correct. It works more for film than it does for comics. For comics, I think it works better to maintain your direction when you do this. So one of the things that I would do with this is I wouldn't have this panel be like for the way I would handle this in a visual storytelling sense. I would not have this second panel be a first-person one. What I would do is I would have this be a wider shot of him, you know, entering the facility. So you would want to have, say, he's him continuing to go in this direction, and you could have it be, you know, fairly wide even, maybe opening the door, and maybe he's got the camera fully up, you know, as he enters the space. And I would actually, yeah, since he's coming in this way, you would want to have the camera in the opposite hand. So I would probably have him holding the camera with this hand. You know, he's got it down here. And that way, when he continues in this direction, and he's entering the building, and you can be like, you can give a little bit of, like a little entrance sign here at the top. I'll come in a little closer on that. So you can give like a little entrance sign. They can be, you know, dark. Continue there. You know, show a little bit of the building. You know, because there's no real establishing shot for the building in this scene as it is. There might be on the previous page. I don't know. I'm only working with the one page, so I'm treating this as though this single page is the scene. So that is important as well. Now, since I would be treating this as its own scene, I would almost certainly recommend adding another page before this, so that you could even have like just like a 2-panel page, you know, have like that you know, one big panel at the top here, and you've got like, actually let me just do this. Whoops. So I would almost certainly recommend another page to give yourself like a nice big wide establishing shot. You know, maybe you've got like your building, big gigantic building. I don't know how big the building's supposed to be. We'll say it's this big. I don't know, maybe you've got like a hill, or yeah, maybe the building's a little further away, and you've got a hill with like your road, and you've got the van kind of coming up towards it. You might have like a little bit of text, kind of be like, oh, this is the location that we're at, we're heading towards this factory. And of course, you know, I already kind of fucked up because I didn't take into consideration the direction. So our hero, he is going to the right so that we maintain that direction. I keep things super loose. So yeah, no, maybe you got a hill or something heading towards this building. Maybe there's some windows and shit. Maybe a smokestack, I don't know. Woo. But yeah, no, he's heading towards the building, and then you might have 1 or 2 panels, you know, after that. You can even have fun with like doing like a cross thing, like splitting up diagonally. You can have fun with that. You don't have to be so rigidly like square, 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 square with your panels. Like you can go a little crazy. You can have some fun with it. You can do like maybe even like a little you know, a little Tarantino-esque kind of thing, or a Raimi, like a Sam Raimi kind of style kind of thing, where you split it up into 4, and then you've got like you got the tires, you know, screeching to a halt. You know, you like 4 quick succession kind of things. Maybe you've got the stick shift or whatever. He puts it into park, drive, reverse. He puts it into park or something like that. And then you know, then you could have like, oh shoot, I keep accidentally doing that. Let's see. Yeah. You can have like the door opening. Right? You know, he's like kind of leaning out, doors opening. And then he kind of like, you kind of have like your van here, and he's like, oh, you know, stepping out, looking up at the building. He had kind of funky hair, I guess. Then you can be like, slam. He's like, doors closed. It's like, I am here now, you know? Yeah, Arno says the camera doesn't work Raimi. Raimi works the camera. But based on if this is the whole scene, I would say you need another page. You need an establishing shot. We got to be able to. We have to see the building that he's going into, you know. And this is a good way to build up tension too, because you're talking about like, you know, this is like a horror kind of style, you know, scenario. So you wanna have a little bit of build up towards that. He's coming in. You see the building. You know, it brakes, park, open the door. Coming out, looking up at the building, and then you know, and then you know, you can cut to what we got here, where he's like, you get to see the van now, so you can see, oh, like he's got the RNN on his van, whatever that means. But of course, I would also say, like, you know, say what that means, like have like a little, what the hell happened? Have like a little sign underneath the RNN that says what the RNN stands for. That way the audience knows, because the audience doesn't know at this point. Yeah, and you can have like the record thing. That's great. I think that's a fun idea. But if you're recording this guy, we should probably see his face. Like, we need to see the details of his face. Because I don't know what a gray is. Maybe it's like some sort of NPC type thing. I don't know 100%. I'm getting a little thirsty, actually. Hold on a second. Wife! Wife! Give me a beer! Bring me a beer! Wife! Do you hear me? Give me a beer!
Here's your beer.
Thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
Love you. Alright, I got my beer. The perks of being married. I just got married last weekend. No big deal. So yeah, anyway, getting back to this. We need to see this guy's features. We need to, like, even if it's something, like he's just like a blob. Like he's, and if you're going for some sort of like NPC type thing, it's some sort of corporation. You got corp right here. Well, what kind of corporation? T Corp. I don't know. Maybe it's T Corp. If it is, we would want to see that back here with a big. Did I do that again? With a big like T Corp. That way we know what we're in for, where we're going. So yeah, no, he brings up the camera in the second panel, so you know, like, now he's recording, and then you cut to the recording, and then you see G-Man here. Maybe he's in darkness, like maybe we've got like some overhead lighting. That could be why he's so shrouded in darkness, but in general, most reception areas tend to be very bright because they want them to be inviting. You're probably not going for that because you're going for this horror vibe. But again, like, I'm working on like very limited understanding of what the actual story is supposed to be here. So, you know, you could still have him be like kind of in shadow. Get like the shadow of his lip, you know, his ears. Maybe he's got like a very G-Man kind of hairstyle. I don't know. Big thick eyebrows, let's say. Maybe he's wearing a suit. I don't know. Maybe it's it's T Corp. Maybe it's very corporatized. Could be. But either way, like, we would probably need to see something so we know what's going on. Just having him be completely engulfed in shadows, I understand it does give you that sort of horror sort of vibe, but it's not clear what's going on to me at this moment. Maybe this is like a story element. Maybe they are just like blob people, and that's part of the story. But I don't know right now because I don't have that information. I'm just working off of just what I see here. So this panel, because I'm thinking it would be best to maintain direction. Oh shit, my mouse is being stupid. I would flip horizontal, and that way he's continuing to travel in the same direction. He's going this way. This way. So now we can get rid of that. He's going this way now. And if you really want him to be going the other direction, if you want him to really need him to go this direction, you could have like him pointing in this direction. Maybe have him, instead of like saying, oh, you know, he's kind of pointing behind himself, which doesn't really work anyway. So you'd either have to be pointing in this direction, say, hey, go that way, and that way he would have to change directions. You can be like, oh, go that way, you know. So that's to your character's left. You're establishing, you know, his direction. He's going to the right. He says, oh, go to the left, you know. And then you can maybe even put like a thing here. Or maybe even have him just like look in the direction that he's pointing. I don't think it really matters all that much, because it goes right into a first person mode again. So I think it would honestly be best to just maintain the direction. You know, keep it going. So have his arm kind of crossing over, maybe. Be like, hey, go that way. You can kind of give him that sort of upward kind of thing where he's like, oh yeah, just go over there. Right? That way. And that way he's continuing to go in this direction. You know? And that way this panel doesn't need to be changed. So we change one panel to go this direction. And we add a wide shot here to establish that he's entering the building, raising his camera, you know, starting to record, maintaining the direction. He's pointing in the direction that he's going, continuing the direction this way. So to the right, front, to the right, front, to the right, front, front. And when you go into this front mode, we kind of maintain this wideness. So what I think would be best is you get a hint of what you're about to reveal over. Oops, I keep forgetting the hotkeys. So you can kind of do a shrunken down version of it, you know, and maybe you're just seeing that, right? And then in this one, we can, let's go, oops. So let's take, why don't you, oh, okay, there we go. So this one establishes that he's kind of like right there. He's got his hand, he's opening the door. We want to see like a hint of what's coming out, right? And then you gotta like push further in. You gotta go further in. Whereas right here, the doors are about the same size in this frame as they are in the previous frame. So it suggests that he hasn't really moved. But, and it gives you that element of separation from inside the room as well, so that you don't have that immediate kind of threat from this ribbon lady that's tormenting this guy, turning him into a NPC or a gray or whatever that is. So I would say let's take this panel here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it out, paste it back in, and whoops, I'm gonna scale that up a little bit. then center that. So she's not going to be fully visible, but we're now going to be fully inside the room. So I'm just kind of roughly extending it. Like I don't go crazy on the art unless something really calls for it. Right? So then he's entering the room, and then of course we'll want to get the record. Whoops. The little record, the red dot. So he's like fully inside the room now. So you get a hint of what's to come, and then you get the full thing. And it's fine as is, but we don't get that reaction. So I would probably extend this into another page, and instead of having the part where she throws the ribbons out here and the part where he busts out of here, I would add that onto the next page, you know, and have this be like, instead of having, here, I'm gonna start, where did that go? Okay, so I'm just gonna take these guys and merge them. I'm gonna bring this down again. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna fill it. Alright, so this page is going to be like these next two panels, let's say, are going to be the reaction. So what you want to do, you've got a wide shot of this, right? So what you want to do after that is you want to get in close. Now you could do this in 3 panels, where you have, let's say, you know, let's have fun with it too. Let's go. Let's kind of go horizontal. We can go bam, and then maybe kick up a little bit, and then maybe all the way. So you can, yeah, just have a little bit of fun with like the composition, but also this is the reason why I'm doing this is it's a little reminiscent of a classic sort of horror filmmaking trope, which is the Dutch angle, you know. So you want to, like, let's so what I'm thinking here is you've got your hint at the doorway, you've got your wide where it reveals that guy's in a chair being tortured and there's this lady with ribbons coming out of her. And so what you could do, you could have this be like a 2-panel thing where it cuts close on the woman and maybe you get like a smile or something like that, or something to suggest a sinister nature or malicious intent. And then you've got the guy's reaction. You want to see his fear. Like, that's really important if you're doing horror stuff, is you want to see the reaction of people. You want to see fear. You get that a little bit with his pose where he's booking it out of there, but you don't. That's more the panic side of thing. That's the result of the fear, not the fear itself. That is his reaction, and this is sort of they need to go together, is what I'm trying to say. So let's say you've got like the lady here, you know, she's got sort of this downward kind of look, you know, lights coming from overhead, so like, you know, really deep shadows. sort of a downward thing. Maybe she's got like this super big grin. I don't know, she had like her hair in a bun. Alright, so maybe you've got like that sinister kind of look. You can even have like a little bit of like an eye. Who knows? But yeah, you get that close up. You see the danger. You could even have like the, let's see. You could even have like the little record. Like he actually zooms in on her. He's like, what is going on here? But actually, you know what? I'm going to make that the second panel. Because then we got a little bit of a bigger look. Yeah, there we go. Now that's looking a little more sinister. So she's looking right at him. So then maybe first what we have... So in this first panel... we'll have like a Dutch. And he's got his camera. He's sort of like opening his eyes. He's like, oh my goodness. What is happening here? Maybe get like a little bit of the hospital in the background there, the hallway. Keeping it rough. I don't remember what his shirt looked like. There we go. So he's got his camcorder on her, right? But we get to see his expression. He's kind of surprised. Then she sort of like looks at him, gives him that sort of evil kind of look. That like, oh, you shouldn't be here, boy, kind of look. And then we go like, you know, even closer. And this time we kind of bring the camcorder down. You get to see the top of his hand. And they've always got those straps on top too. So you can see his fingers anyway. So he's bringing that down. And we'll kind of give him like a... I mean, you would want to give him like a little more of a scared expression, so I'm not gonna give him the the Tintin eyes. Let's give him like a full. Right? Oh my goodness. What does his hair look like? He's got that anime hair, actually. Oops. Get some of that hospital corridor in there. You really want to kind of like give people that point of reference of the background so that you can really tell that it's that he's not just tilted, but it's like you actually got the whole scene on a Dutch angle, right? So that's how I would approach that page. I wouldn't have him be turning away just yet. So yeah. So like I said though, like how we added a page beforehand, we would want to also add a page after the fact. Now this is the page where so the first page you're on like this side, like on when you're looking at a comic book, turning the page is where you want to have big reveals, you know? So for this one, like say you got your open book like this, and that first page with the establishing shot is here. You got your 4-panel thing here, and then you've got your Dutch angle shots here, your upright shots here, right? And then when you turn the page, whoop, that's when you go into, whoops. That's when you go into the part where she attacks him and he flees, right? Now the way I would approach that is I would probably have it in 3 panels. You would want to have her shooting out the ropes, right? And that has to be like big and, you know, dynamic. Like this is like you showed his fear face. Now what's he reacting to? Well, he's reacting to her shooting out those little ribbons at him, right? And since this is on the page turn, that's a great opportunity to do like a big, bold action kind of shot, you know? So hold on a second. So last we saw, he is looking this way, and she's looking right back at him. And she's kind of looking on the same direction he was sort of coming from. So since she's kind of looking from that direction, and the ribbons are coming off of her on this side, the way I might do this next page is maybe kind of have like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, okay. got like that forced perspective. Where's it coming? Yeah, no, she's got coming out of her arm there. So I would do the opposite arm. And maybe do something like this. Something like that. And then you can break. Bam. So she's attacking from this side. Now he came in on this direction, so we kind of want him to leave on this direction. So if you come in on one direction and then you're reacting and you're avoiding whatever it is you came into from that direction, it's usually good to go the opposite direction. And we can have some fun with that. So I'm still getting used to Clip Studio Paint. It's mostly the keyframe, not the keyframes, the smart keys. What do you call those things? Shortcuts. Oh, God, shortcuts. Because I'm still kind of used to the Photoshop shortcuts, and they're slightly different in a lot of ways. And also I do Toon Boom for work, so I kind of work with those shortcuts as well. And you know, do that all day, and then you kind of get used to it, and then you switch to another program, and you gotta figure out the shortcuts all over again. So, we got, you know, she's doing her ribbon thing, and we can get kind of like big and dynamic with it. Big forced perspective. Get like a whole bunch of them. Maybe we can even have that be what he's dodging and have it break the panels a little bit. Arno, he says, it's nice. I use Krita. And thanks for still being here, Arno. Thanks for sticking around. So she's, let's see, she's got her bun, her librarian haircut, and I would probably go like ham on her expression. Like I would do something like ridiculous and crazy. Maybe her expression changes. Rawr. She's mad now. Keeping it really loose. You know, you could do that, and then like I like this idea of her kind of like breaking the panel with this. With her ribbons here, you can kind of like, I mean, this is super duper rough. Like I'm not like doing like full pencils or anything with this, but you want to get that darkness going on. Maybe get some like some action lines. Get all anime with it. Pow pow pow. Pow 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 pow. Pow 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 pow. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Tank Girl, the movie. I love that movie. Growing up, I was a big fan of Pauly Shore. And they had that movie In the Army Now, and it had that girl who ended up being Tank Girl afterwards, and man, she was great. She was so charismatic. I really liked her. Let's see, I don't know, maybe we could do It's terrible. Hey, Scud, how you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. I'm just doing some editing, giving people an idea on how I would approach editing for something like this. But yeah, no, like it's trying to get like a hand kind of thing. Yeah, maybe we'll just avoid that. Keep it to the front hand. So you got her. Not bringing my A game on the actual drawing portion of it, but pretend it's good. It's not about getting the drawings perfect. It's about conveying the message, conveying the feeling and whatnot. Scud, thank you for the birthday wishes, but it is not my birthday. That's not until February, bud. But yeah, so I would do something like that. You can kind of break the panel a little bit to kind of like get the impression that it's sort of like, you know, part of this panel where he's dodging, and then I would kind of have him like, you know, dodging this way, and then have like ribbons kind of going past him. Little claw hands. Let me just clean that up a little bit so it's not a fucking mess. Give him that anime hair. Still got his camera. Maybe even like break the frame a little bit with his hair too, just because he's got that big hair. It's one of those elements that's good to break frame with, you know. I have the same thing with the crown on Pineapple Pizza Man's head. That thing is always breaking the frame because like it's so big. So you can get some creative uses out of that too. So she's shooting this way, he's dodging this way. And then this is the scene. This is the shot. You can I would probably put like some like anime speed lines in the background here. Something like that. And then, you know, then you got that scene where he's running away, and you could have the door in the background. And maybe you've got like, that's all blacked out. There we go. But then you've got like, oops, you got like the ribbons kind of coming out of it. And then you can kind of bring those in a little bit. And then maybe have like the eyes glowing in the darkness. You might do something a little more fancy than that. This is just an example. You know, you've got that. I don't know if there's something like a door. Got your door there. You got that creepy blacked out room. And you can even like sort of have like the dude in the chair, you know. In the background as well, if you still want to show that. It's a stylistic choice for the most part. But then like you could have him. You got it running and running, like really exaggerate that pose. Yeah. Really kind of hyper exaggerate it too, you know. But yeah, so that's basically how I would approach the editing for that one. Like I would end up turning that into 3 pages. Again, this is entirely based off of just that one page. Not a ton to go off of. I don't have the context of the full script or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a couple things. Really think about camera angles and stuff like that. The Dutch angle, great for horror shots. Just giving it that little bit of tilt, you know. It gives you that sense of uneasiness, that sense of being off balance. So you know we've got that adding a first page, slowing down the pacing initially at first, just so that you can build that tension a little bit, build the suspense, adding that establishing shot so you can see the location that he's going to, having him exiting the car. It's just the little things to kind of build up that tension, and then coming into the main page, maintaining that direction of action, very important, I think. It helps to keep the reader oriented. The way you had it set up was technically correct, and the way you were breaking the axis and switching directions was technically correct, but I didn't feel like it was entirely necessary when, I think maintaining that direction for such a short scene would actually have a much bigger impact. Adding a little more time to get reactions, really get close on the character's face so you can see the fear when he stumbles into this room and sees what's going on with this lady with the ribbons and tangling up that guy and turning him into some sort of like gray alien or NPC sort of dude. And then moving that final panel, which was the one where he's running away and the one where she's attacking him with her ribbons. Moving that final panel to the new page, which would be on the page turn, right? That way you get the reveal, you turn the page and bam, you got this great big piece of action, shooting out the ribbons at him. Boom, he's ducking and out of the way, and then booking it on out of there, back in the opposite direction. He comes into it into the situation from one direction, he leaves in the opposite direction. And that's a good way to establish that. Getting that, like, those dynamic, exciting panels for the action stuff, really pushing the force perspective on the part where he, runs away, instead of having it come straight on, like giving it that, that 3/4 kind of view, and that way you can kind of also, it just gives it that little bit of extra dynamism, yeah, but like really getting them even closer on that too, so you can and having it be all on that one page, you can really get close, you can really see those expressions, you can really like get into that action, have fun with the panels, and how that flows, yeah, like having what he's running away from in the background, having that being very clear. You're also kind of like taking into consideration the rule of thirds too, and that's something you should always take into consideration with your paneling, in general. So you've got stuff like that, and you want to take this into consideration, both the rule of thirds into consideration both with the overall page composition and within the individual panels too, right? Now, when you're doing like kind of crazy panels like this with like these sleek, very slim triangle kind of panels and stuff, it's a little more difficult. But you can kind of see what I'm doing. You can see that her like and eventually, like, the more you do this, the more it's going to be like very second nature to kind of put things in the rule of thirds. So you can see that I've kind of done that here, where her face and hand kind of fall into that rule of thirds there. He doesn't fall onto any of these rule of thirds corners here in the second panel, but he does kind of fit like right in here. He does kind of fit right in this section. You've got that middle section, top section, middle section, bottom section. You've got that nice triangle pattern, top left, bottom right, bottom left. You've got his face when he's running away, right on that rule of third at the bottom there, and even this is kind of framed by that last ninth of the page there. It doesn't fall exactly on like this line or this line, or like right here on that rule of third like point there, those like kind of key points, but like it benefits like the overall composition with that. You could move it over maybe a little bit if you wanted to, maybe just like grab that, like really layer it behind him if you wanted to, like get that in that rule of thirds. But I just feel like that's feels a little bit cramped. And I think that kind of makes it nicer, because then you can really kind of get both of them in focus there. So that's it for the first episode of the Science Wizard Comics Redline. We took one page and we turned it into 3. That's often what happens with comic books. Like I was saying earlier, that's exactly what happened with the Chicken Warrior. This is exactly what happened with Pineapple Pizza Man. Sometimes you just gotta add a little time for pacing. Pacing is important. It's very, very important with comic books. You don't want to do things too fast. You also don't want to do things too slow. But especially when you're trying to build tension, when you're doing something like a horror comic, you really want to build tension. Or if you really are doing like a big blowout action scene, like you really want to take some time and enjoy that action scene. You want to like get into that crazy dynamic paneling, that crazy dynamic action. You want to get explosions and like speed lines and all that kind of stuff. Like really have fun with it, and also really take into consideration what comes on the page turn. Think about that. It's very important. You want to do on the page turn, you want to have things like big reveals. You want to have things like explosive like kind of action, and that's why we have this set up the way we do here. Sorry, with these Dutch expression, like these Dutch reaction shots, you know, where it goes in on his face, and then it goes in on her face, and she's kind of creepy and scary, and then it goes even closer on his face, and he's terrified, and then immediately goes back to boom, action, throwing the ribbons at him, speed lines, dodging, running away, you know. That's fun stuff. I think it's fun stuff. I had fun with this. I got to shout out Catalytic Comics. Again, check him out on Twitter. Thank you so much for providing me with that page and letting me edit that up for you. It was fun. It was informative. And feel free to use the editing that I've provided on this for your comic if you want. Entirely up to you. You could even just chalk it up to a learning experience and continue doing whatever it is you had planned, because I don't know your script. I don't know all of the context necessary to properly fully edit this. So this is just for fun, and I hope it was fun for you guys too. It was fun for me. So thanks again, guys. I'm gonna call it a night there. I hope you enjoyed. I thought it was pretty fun. You know, it's fun to just dig into, you know, someone else's work, especially when you have absolutely no context, you know, because then you can really kind of have fun with it. You can really go wild. You can just say like, whatever, you know, we can make it up since we don't know. Danny Rendon, thank you for joining me. It is not my birthday, but thank you for the birthday wishes anyway. I don't know why everyone thinks it's my birthday. I don't know why everyone thinks it's my birthday, but this was the Science Wizard Comics REDLINE stream. So anybody watching, if you want to get your work featured on the REDLINE stream, you can DM it to me on Twitter at Josh Animator. I'm going to double check that. It might be Josh the Animator. Okay, yeah, no, it's just Josh Animator. I'll put that in the chat there. So you can DM stuff to me. You can also send it to me at the email. So that's sciencewizardcomics@gmail.com. So you can do that. I'm going to try to do these every Friday. So long as I have a submission that I can work on, I will be working on it. Next week, I'm going to be going over what Forrester sent me. He sent me... I know what it is. Josh's birthday stream. Yeah, I did not change the stream definition, like the text and stuff in the stream. I got to do that later. I kind of screwed up on that. I was just, I had just eaten. I'd had a few drinks already. I was just trying to get things started. I haven't streamed in a while. I'm a little rusty, so I apologize for that. It is not my birthday stream. This is Science Wizard Comics REDLINE editing stream. I'm going to be doing these hopefully every Friday, so long as people have something submitted to me that I can edit. And at some point, I might even like revisit some of the Science Wizard Comics edits just to show you like how we approach those. I'll probably do the Science Wizard Comics stuff more as a in-depth video, like an edited video, because that way I can kind of like really, you know, go into it at length, starting from the script. You know, how that's edited, go into the roughs, you know, and how that eventually evolves into the inks and the colors. I'll probably do that more with Chicken Warrior. That's what we're working on right now. I'm going to finish up a new page of coloring for Chicken Warrior this weekend, and that's with pencils by Smackin, Kraken, and inks by Troy. And there's definitely some editing that happens even after the inking stage, because sometimes Troy misses a few things, you know. There was one character in the current page where I had to take his shirt off. because in the first page, it's established that the character has no shirt on, and then in the next page, Troy drew a shirt onto him, so I had to remove that first before I could fully get to coloring him. But it's little things like that. Sometimes it's not even like to say that Troy did anything wrong. Of course he didn't. Like he was approaching the page probably as his own specific artistic piece, and just the continuity just kind of slipped his mind, most likely. That happens a lot. And there's little small continuity things that end up having to be, adjusted in, when I start the color stage, because like I have to check everything. I have to flat everything, and I'll flat something in one panel, and I'll realize, oh shoot, like this character, he had this on the other panel, but he doesn't have it in this panel. There was one where a character had like a wristband on one panel, but in the next panel he didn't have the wristband. So it's usually small stuff like that after the inking stage, and and it's just like, hopefully I catch it all. Hopefully there's nothing that I missed before I start coloring it. But so far we've been pretty good with that. Next week I will definitely have new thumbnails for the Redline. I will not forget to change the name of the stream and the definition, and I will fix that in post here as well. If you guys don't know, I have a Ko-Fi now, and this Ko-Fi is specifically for a secret comic that I'm going to be working on as soon as I finish Pineapple Pizza Man issue 1. What I am raising money for through the Ko-Fi is to buy a really awesome cover by one of the best artists for exactly this kind of thing. And once we hit 75% on this, I'm gonna reveal who that amazing cover artist is. You'll realize why that goal is $1,000, because the guy is awesome. I'm getting like the tippy top cover artist for this secret comic. And the cool thing about this secret comic is that, well, first of all, is that we're getting pretty close already. I mean, considering I just started this like a couple weeks back, we're already at $167, and that is 16% of the goal. We can get there, man. And as soon as we do get there, as soon as we reach the $1,000 goal, that money is going directly to that artist, so he can start working on that amazing cover. It's already been roughed out. He's just got to turn it into that beautiful moi polish that we have come to expect from this fantastic artist, who you all know and love. I'm sure of it. So check that out. Give me a little donation if you can, as little as $3, or you could even go more if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But the fun thing about the secret comic is that we've also got some more information on the ScienceWizardComics.com website, our official website for Science Wizard Comics. And I've got a little write-up here on there about the secret comic, about the project. I got a little bit of questions and answers on here, how you can get your hands on it. Why don't we I'm just going to go over it. I've already told you what the money's going towards. It's going towards the amazing cover artist. Why are the contents of this comic a secret? I can't tell you without spoiling the secret, to be honest. But it's very exciting. You're going to love it. I love it. This is a dream project of mine. Take that into consideration. What kind of project would be a dream project for Josh? Eh? That might give you a hint just there. Arno, I cannot confirm nor deny what you have just asked me. You asked me if it's Ninja Ink. I cannot confirm nor deny, because I'm not going to reveal that information until we hit 75%. So donate. Help us get there faster. How much is this secret comic going to cost? Nothing. The secret comic will be 100% free. It will be free. Why is it free? I can't tell you. That would also reveal the secret. It is only going to be available physically. I am not going to make digital copies of the secret comic. You will only be able to get it physically. There's a reason for it. Part of it is because I want it to be a special, collector's item. Something that is... digital just doesn't... You can't really be a collector's item when it's digital. And that's part of the reason why it's only going to be physical. But also because I've never seen anybody do something like this, physical only. It's a big thing. It's big. I can't stress how awesome this is. But also, I'm just a big fan of print media. I love having that beautiful physical thing in your hands. There's nothing better. How do you get your hands on the secret comic? There are 5 ways. 5 ways that you can get this secret comic. The first is to follow us on Twitter, at Science Comics, Facebook, Science Wizard Comics on Facebook, or mine's at Science Wizard Comics, and keep an eye out for any secret comic raffles, because we will be doing raffles for the secret comic. I like doing raffles. They're a lot of fun, especially when you get some sweet secret physical comic. You don't even know what you're going to get, but you're excited for it because you know it's awesome, because you know I'm excited about it, and if I'm excited about it, you're excited about it, because you know it's going to be cool. And that's the only way you're going to find out what exactly the secret comic's about, is by getting the secret comic. So, so sign up, make sure you're following us on all those social medias. We'll be having different raffles for different social medias. So we'll have one on Twitter, we'll have one on mine, we'll have one on Facebook, right? And so, you're following all those, join in on all those raffles, 3 times the chances to win, right? You can also sign up to our newsletter at sciencewizardcomics.com, and you'll automatically be notified of the raffles on our various social media sites through that when we have them, and you'll automatically get entered in to win the occasional raffle through the newsletter. As long as you're signed up for the newsletter, you have a chance to win the raffle, or at least the newsletter raffle, specific ones. But you'll automatically be, entered into those ones. So you don't even have to do anything for those ones. As long as you're signed up to our newsletter, you're good to go. Support our crowdfunding campaigns. That's another way that you do it. With our crowdfunding campaigns, I'm going to be slipping in, just random backers, a couple of secret comics for free. Just why not? So whenever you back one of our books, if it's going to be on Indiegogo, if it's on Kickstarter, if we decide to do anything through the website or through Ko-Fi or whatever other crowdfunding campaign, you'll have a chance to get the secret comic for free through that. If you meet me or Theron or any of the other Science Wizard Comics folks in person, so if you're at a convention, you just see us walking around town, hanging out, playing Nintendo, whatever, ask us about the secret comic. Ask if you can have a copy. Hey, you got any of those secret comics? Think I could get one of those? Yeah, man, I got a few in the backpack right here. There you go. That's another way. So you got to know about it, to ask about it, to get it. And number 5, the last way that you can get it is if either myself or Theron just think you're a cool dude and we want to send you something awesome. So if I like you, you're probably going to get a secret comic. It's a little something, something. You know what I'm saying? I am a giving man. I like to give. I am a generous god. I am a generous dear leader. It's a bit of an inside joke for Science Wizard Comics, but anyway, yeah. So that's it. I hadn't really touched on the Ko-Fi stuff just yet, So I wanted to put that out there, make sure that that's on the YouTube here. I'll probably clip that and put it up as its own video, or I might do like an actual edited video going over the Ko-Fi. So Arno, Danny, Troy, Scud, Lady Caitlin 0429, and Van Myrano. Let me know how to pronounce your name properly, since you've already said that I've said it wrong already. I don't know how else to say it. But thank you all. Thank you everybody for joining me on tonight's stream on the Science Wizard Comics Redline. I'll be getting all the kinks worked out by the next episode. Make sure to follow Science Wizard Comics at Science Comics. Make sure to follow me at Josh Animator. And check out sciencewizardcomics.com. We've also got on sciencewizardcomics.com, our shop is now functional. And what's this? We've got Juanpool, Journey of the Juan, limited Indiegogo variant bundles. Oh. So if you missed out on the Indiegogo, you can still pick up issues 1 and 2 from the Indiegogo variant on the website now. So that includes all the stickers, the trading cards, the prints, pin, the whole 9 yards. So check it out. Make sure you're following us on all those social medias that I mentioned. Check the website. Donate on the Ko-Fi. Thanks again for joining, and join me next week on the Science Wizard Comics Redline, where I will be editing at least part of a whole comic. I might have to do a couple episodes for that one, just because you sent me a whole friggin' comic. So thanks again, guys. Check it out. Thanks for coming. I gotta figure out a sign off. Peace out.